I'm getting back to that thing where it's not the news that's depressing. It's the way that people are handling the news that's depressing me. People still running around acting like Donald Trump is a unique existential threat to our country. He is not. He's not a unique existential threat to our country. He is a threat to our country. He's not unique. The Republicans have been running on racism my entire life. Why did 2 out of the last 4 RNC chairmen apologize for the Southern strategy? What is the Southern strategy? It's racism. That was their official policy at the RNC, racism. The Southern strategy. Donald Trump did not invent a racist Republican Party. He's exploiting it. Who is more dangerous to this country? Was it Donald Trump or Roger Ailes? Who did more damage to this country, Donald Trump or Roger Ailes? Who Rachel Maddow calls her mentor. So that's what's tough to me, is to watch people who are smarter than me, have read more books, maybe written more books than I've read, be transparently, on purpose, hysterical and dumber than me. First of all, it's almost all my old friends in Hollywood, in comedy. They all have this surface level critique of the culture, politics, and what's wrong. It's a surface level critique. It's the kind of critique I get from the cashier at Ralph's. It's the kind of critique I get from my hairdresser. It's the kind of critique I get from from a cab driver or an Uber driver. And what do I mean by that? Very surface level. Very whatever's being fed to them by the news media, which is 100% propaganda. That's what I hear back from those people. That's what I'm hearing back from my old friends in Hollywood. 100% surface level critique of what's happening right now. Because all they do is watch Rachel Maddow and Chris Hayes and read the New York Times. And if you do that, you're going to end up bragging about voting for Joe Biden. You're going to wind up bragging about voting for a guy who has a history of fucking over America worse than anybody alive right now. You're going to brag about it as if you're doing a good thing. Joe Biden becomes president. People still don't have health care. People still don't have COVID relief. People still don't have decent jobs, a living wage. They're still under mountains of debt. They still have fracking pipes crisscrossing under their houses. And we're still in 7 wars and increasing the military budget every year. So this idea that Joe Biden is a panacea or a relief from the problems of Donald Trump is a fool. Now, who's being naive, Kay? Jimmy, politicians don't have men killed. Who's being naive, Kay? Politicians aren't war criminals. Who's naive, Kay? I had another run-in on Twitter with a guy who I was certain was light years ahead of me in intellect. And it just goes to show you that there are things that are more valuable than intellect. And what is that? Courage. So people without the courage it takes to assess a situation, because that's what it actually takes. You know, the smartest people in the world are building nuclear bombs. That doesn't take any courage. That's using all your intellect for evil. That's using your intellect to trick yourself. And what people are doing right now who are upset about Donald Trump and Donald Trump alone and acting like we have to replace Donald Trump and then we can all sleep at night. Mm-hmm. That's a huge mistake, because we're just getting what the Black Agenda report calls a more insidious problem, which is a Democrat that puts people like all my old Hollywood friends to sleep. Like when Barack Obama was putting kids in cages. immigrant kids in cages, when Barack Obama was gassing immigrant kids at the border and putting them in cages, which was what Barack Obama did, because all those pictures that Rachel Maddow shows when she's upset about Donald Trump putting kids in cages, all those pictures are from 2014 when it was Barack Obama putting those kids in cages. So that's a more insidious problem than Donald Trump putting kids in cages. Why? Because everyone's aware of it when Donald Trump does it. But when Barack Obama does it, everybody on the left goes to sleep. All my old blue check Hollywood friends, they all go to sleep, every fucking one of them. You think, was Andy Richter upset when Barack Obama was putting kids in cages? Andy Richter was not upset. Was Conan O'Brien upset when Barack Obama was bombing Muslims so much for 8 straight years that they ran out of bombs, that Barack Obama dropped more bombs than George Bush? Was Conan O'Brien screaming then? Was Andy Richter screaming then? No, they didn't say a fucking word. And that's the insidiousness of Joe Biden and Barack Obama. Because when Joe Biden was doing exactly what Donald Trump was doing, Blue Check Hollywood was Judd Apatow saying anything? No, he wasn't. No, they weren't. Then Donald Trump starts doing it, and they become aware of a problem. But, they're still not upset that Donald Trump got an extra $132 billion from Nancy Pelosi to go bomb people. They're still not upset about that. They're still not upset that Joe Biden promises to keep increasing the military budget while promising to veto health care for regular people. They're still not upset about that. So that's the part that I can't take. I can take politicians being horrible. I can take the media being completely 100% corrupt. But what I can't take is people who have read more books than me and are way smarter than me, lacking the courage it takes to use their fucking God-given intelligence to assess a situation. Because it's a little more painful when you go, oh, maybe the problem is us? Yes. The problem is us. Donald Trump is a symptom of our problem. And no one will come on to debate me about this. Isn't that funny? Like, I don't like debates. Because again, those same people who have read more books than me, they can be 100% wrong about an idea. Like Ben Shapiro. He's way smarter than me. He's against Medicare for all. If I debated him, he would probably know some verbal tricks to win the debate, to kind of get me to ask me a question that I didn't have an answer for. He probably could do that. Sam Harris, same thing. They're super smart. So they know all the mental gymnastics and they can corner you in debates. That doesn't mean that Sam Harris is right and that we should keep bombing Iraq, Iran, Libya, Syria, Afghanistan. That doesn't mean he's right about that. That's not what that means. That means he's just got better intellectual tricks up his sleeve. But even when it comes to this, I'm willing to debate people way smarter than me and way better than me at debates. And nobody will come on. None of them. None of them. None of the people none of the blue check Hollywood, my old Hollywood blue check friends on Twitter who are upset with me. They don't invite me on their shows to talk about it. Joe Rogan does. Joe Rogan's not afraid of an idea. Joe Rogan, who fucking backed Bernie Sanders. So...
Well, you were talking about, it was, I think you mentioned, forget which blue check Hollywood person, but they were all like, I don't want to talk to another Trumpster ever again. And
right.
I was like, why are you feeding into that whole
right.
narrative about that? We're supposed to hate the other person. We're supposed to, I don't want to talk to you anymore. What they've been totally indoctrinated to divide.
That's correct.
They want to divide. And I cannot believe that a grown-up would say, I can't talk to somebody who's a Trumpster. Just that they're saying Trumpster, I have people in my family that voted every different way you could in 2016. So if you say these derogatory statements about somebody else, it's like, how's that dividing us? How is that going to unite this country that is in serious problems right now?
So when you're talking to people who are Trumpsters because they support Trump and you have disdain for them because Trump's a racist. You didn't have disdain for anybody who voted for Mitt Romney or John McCain or George Bush. But it's different with Trump because they were using the Southern strategy to get elected was all racism. But somehow the racism now, because, again, it's the surface level critique of what's happening. And it's always rich people. It's almost always rich people. And the surface level critique I get, from regular blue collar people is they're not vehement. The people who are vehement and triggered by Trump, I find, are the rich Hollywood privileged blue check people. Regular people, they don't like Trump either. They don't like fucking Joe Biden. They don't like they get it. But they still say you got to vote for Joe Biden, but they're not voting. 92 million people don't vote. Most of those people are poor. 92 million people don't vote. Most of those people are poor. And if Blue Check Hollywood had a fucking idea in their head, they would be upset at Joe Biden and the Democratic Party for being so corrupt, for being such an enemy of their own voters, that they're at risk of losing to Donald Trump, a game show host, political novice. That's how bad and corrupt the Democratic Party is. They're in jeopardy of losing again to Donald Trump. And you're still angry at voters? Shame on you. Shame on you. You're still angry at voters. And when will you get angry at the powerful? Answer is never, because that's not good for their career to be angry at the Democratic Party. That's not good for their career in Hollywood. Courage, way more important than intellect. Courage, way more important. And this is an example. Courage. It doesn't take any courage to come out against Donald Trump. It takes courage to come out against the cause of Donald Trump. And that's what Andy Richter and Conan O'Brien and Judd Apatow, that's what they'll never do. Or the executive producer of The Simpsons, they'll never come out against the cause of Donald Trump because they don't give a fuck. They don't care that you don't have health care. They don't give a fuck that we're bombing 8 different Muslim countries. They don't give a shit that the government's completely captured by Wall Street. It doesn't affect them. They don't like that Donald Trump is fucking rude. It triggers them. They don't have the courage, which is what it takes, actual courage, which is a rarity in Hollywood. It takes an actual courage to critique the cause of our problems. It takes zero courage to get upset and throw a tantrum at the symptom of our problems. And that's what Hollywood blue checks do. It takes courage to talk about when Barack Obama is bombing 8 different Muslim countries. It takes courage to talk about when Barack Obama is gassing immigrants. It takes courage to talk about when Barack Obama is putting immigrants in cages. Or when Barack Obama is opening the Arctic to drilling twice. Or when Barack Obama is taking us from 2 wars to 7, or when Barack Obama is making the banks bigger while kicking 5.1 million families out of their houses. It takes courage to talk about that stuff. It takes zero courage to talk about what a jerk Donald Trump is. And those people are cowardly. It doesn't take any guts. Andy Richter's puffing his fucking fat chest out. He's got no fucking courage. Zero. He's performing. When you see Andy Richter and Judd Apatow tweeting about how fuck up Donald Trump, they are performing. They are performing. And who exactly they're performing for? Their peers. That is performance. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.